quick, should we do corrections first or recap first?
Well, we just kind of like just let them know like what we're doing.
Oh, right. It is episode 4.
This is episode 4. We're going to split it into 4 episodes, which is unprecedented. We have never split anything into more than 2 total. So this is doubling our record for the biggest mystery we've tackled yet, probably.
Yeah, crazy.
And I'm not doing any more work rest of the year.
No, this is like your retirement plan. You get to finish this and then you sit on your laurels.
It is September, so it's not that long. It's episode 4. Yeah.
Well, what we wanted to dedicate this episode to, as I recall, is wrapping up the case, giving our final thoughts on what we might think may have happened out there in the snow when no one was watching, and read some theories from some experts and some leading authorities that may have their own ideas on what might have happened, and maybe see what school of thought in that sense we lean furthest toward. But that's as far as I know what the plan is today.
That's what I was thinking.
All right.
So he's going to give us a little recap, a short little...
Yes.
You don't have to go into detail.
Okay.
For the viewers, what is the case? Just basic.
9 people in the 1950s in Russia go missing in the Ural Mountains. And they are found to have died in mysterious circumstances, in mysterious places. Or not mysterious, but like...
Unsuspecting places.
Unsuspecting is a good word.
Doesn't make much sense.
Yes, their tent was cut from the inside, and we find 2 bodies under a cedar tree who have been stripped of their clothing. And then we find 3 bodies going back towards the tent, but having frozen, died of hypothermia. And then...
Lots of bruises on them.
Yes, very suspicious.
Yeah, some strange injuries, some cuts, some fire damage.
Mm-hmm. And 2 months after this, we finally find the last 4 who have died in a ravine, not in the den that they had created and likely would have survived in. And they have the most strange injuries. They have trauma to the chest that is equivalent to a car crash or an avalanche.
Mango, you got something to say about it?
That was such a pathetic little meow.
That's the kind of meows he makes when he has a toy in his mouth and he's running around in the middle of the night. That's his assert his dominance. He has a toy in his mouth.
Yep.
Mango, you've been teasing us through this whole podcast. You haven't made an appearance yet, though, I think. Not on any of these Dyatlov Pass episodes, anyway. Mango, if you're going to be yowling through this whole thing, you're going to get something thrown at you. Warning, Mango.
Just go get him.
Shenanigans concluded.
Okay. But yeah, so that is basically the case. A little bit about that. You had very, very bad injuries to those 4.
Yeah. There's no real explanation why these very experienced hikers and young, fit people should have died out on the mountains. They had everything they needed, but something happened that led them to leave their tent without their shoes. And for some reason, they could not go back to the safety of the tent. So very mysterious. I have a few maps if you want to refresh your memory.
That's right, to see where everyone was, positioning-wise.
Do y'all want to do that?
I mean, it'd be good. You made these maps.
I mean,
this was for me, but...
Personal notes. I can kind of see over here.
This is like a topographical map. So the tent is up here. These are the 2 mountains. So between them is the Dyatlov Pass. The Labaz, the storage thing that they made the day before, is down to the south. The mountain they're going to is up to the north. And we can see the tent on the slope of this hill. The 3 that died on the slope. Yeah,
the Led Zeppelin album cover looking people. And then the ravine.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Because they crawled up there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then the 2 that died under the cedar tree where they had made a campfire. And then the 4 that died in the ravine, but not in their den. And I have like the exact meter.
And one of these mountains was called like Dead Mountain, wasn't it?
Dead Man.
Yeah. Which was the English translation of the indigenous name for the mountain, which was more like empty mountain. Like nothing grew on the mountain. No animals went there.
Yeah, it's still suspicious to me.
I think so.
There was a plane crash nearby, not on the mountain, but nearby.
And anything that translates to Dead Mountain, even if it's a loose translation, it's going to give me the heebie-jeebies. Like, that's Dead Mountain. Like, that's what? I'm not going there.
Yeah, I'm not going to
no.
Dead Mountain. No.
All right, and I do have a whiteboard in case we want to draw out our theories.
I think we should start with the theories that you hear online.
Yes.
And then we'll go into ours.
A few corrections first.
Yes.
Episode 1, I need to apologize to Sasha because I said that he had lied about his birthday. It was not Sasha. It was the other Sasha. So Alexander, the one we've been calling Alexander. Same sort of circumstances where it would have been like they were having not necessarily a fight, but like the mood wasn't great. And he potentially was like, hey, it's my birthday. Let's all be happy. Potentially. This is not a correction on my part, but there's some false info out there that the remaining 4 hikers they had alcohol in their system and that could have played a role. That's just what bodies do when they decompose. They produce alcohol.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
I've never thought of that, but they would sort of ferment, like the stuff inside of them.
You put it that way.
That's just nature. That's
yeah.
all that alcohol is. It's just a process of something like decaying.
Yeah,
in this weird
rotting,
way.
fermenting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe it, yeah.
So there's no evidence that they were drunk the night of. And someone in real life had a question about the type of radiation. And the lab where they did the radiation testing did not have the equipment to determine the actual element of the radiation. So we don't know what the radiation was. We don't know if it was plutonium or uranium. Could be potassium, which is very common in the natural world. Like our bodies produce potassium. So could have been it, could have been not.
As long as it wasn't gamma radiation, because that would take my Hulk theory out the window.
Oh, we talk about that.
Oh, no. Okay, well, I'll put a pin in the Hulk thing. Maybe they got one of them turned
I think
into
it was beta and gamma.
Jesus. Okay, I was making a joke, but maybe...
Crazy.
Find out.
Yeah, we got my little chart.
Yeah. So this is a radiation chart.
No,
alpha rays, beta rays, gamma rays, X rays, and neutron rays.
Do I say which one's which? No, I don't. Well, in the
We'll
previous
figure it out,
episodes,
yeah.
I'm sure I said it. But I can put a little thing at the end if we didn't say it.
I don't know if we did.
We'll see.
So some theories. Either it was murder, like there was a third party that came and disturbed the group. Some people say that it was the Mansi, the indigenous people in the area. It's possible. They were following a hunter's trail, like a ski trail. So like there was someone in the area who was Mansi. So it could have happened. But they're very friendly to hikers, typically. Like they house hikers and like feed them and like send them on the way.
So it would be very strange if one of them suddenly came up with them with murderous intent.
Exactly. And they're also what do you call it when a minority group that's like been suppressed. So it's usually suppressed people do not go out of their way to commit crime because
You got it bad enough.
yeah. Yeah.
Don't let it reflect back on your kinfolk.
Yes. So maybe it was escaped gulag prisoners. There was a prison in the area that was still open as far as I know. And it was one of the bigger gulags. So maybe prisoners escaped into the mountains and murked them for some reason. Or it could have been prison guards who thought the hikers were escaped prisoners. I have no other proof for that. Just maybe.
Why would they think it's escaped prisoners if it's hikers that prepared? Like they have a tent, they have all this equipment. Escaped prisoners wouldn't have that, I would think.
It's not my favorite theory.
Yeah, I'm immediately kind of suspicious of that.
But it could be like, oh, they saw one of them out and they like got killed one of them and then was just like,
oh no.
Like, and then there was a whole group of them and you're like, gotta kill them all.
Can't have witnesses.
That's crazy.
Hey,
Maybe.
I mean,
Maybe it's more
weirder
complex
stuff has
than you think.
happened.
Under the theme of murder or a third-party attacker, could be a yeti or a wild animal. Particularly the severe chest trauma. That's why people think that it was a big yeti that
Some
like
kind of
squished
great
him.
beast just like took its paw or whatever
Exactly.
and smashed them in the chest.
We should go to Bigfoot Museum and ask them.
I wonder if they have
we
theories
should've.
there. They would probably be familiar with this case.
Maybe not even just this case per se, but just like what kind of damage can Bigfoot do to us? Like, does he have the muscle capacity to do a car accident, or like hitting a head so hard that that kind of damage? What kind of strength does he have?
In my expert opinion,
I would assume he might, but I don't know.
I think so. I think at least the yeti is supposed to be pretty strong.
But I want to hear of our researchers.
It's
Because
so
that's
true.
because we just learned that Yeti was brown. Like at
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's true.
Yeah, we always thought it was white. Like a
I
white Yeti.
still don't believe a Yeti
No.
would be brown. I feel like that's just evolution. When you're in that polar cold, you want to turn white. That's just what animals do.
And we don't know if every single tear in or cut in the tent was from the inside. Not every cut was cataloged. So some of it could be from an outside attacker. Claws, knives.
And the Yeti
You
has
don't know.
claws.
And we know that for a fact from the Bigfoot Museum.
Yeah.
We saw those castings.
Yep.
Yeah, didn't they have a Yeti hand? Like they had the hand bones?
Yes.
yeah,
It was like a
from-
very spindly, like suspiciously, like not what you would think a Yeti's hand would be.
It was like a large like male adult hand, but like the fingers were just longer.
Yeah, it looked like a creepy spindly hand, like not some kind of giant paw.
Yeah. Like mummified, not like a human hand.
I did a lot of weird things here. It's great.
It
It's
was
great, guys.
interesting.
You should go. LJ, Georgia.
There could have been infighting between them. There could have been a lover's quarrel.
Lover's quarrel.
I don't think there's much evidence for a lover's quarrel, but they did record like they had arguments along the way. And I'm like, it's a very stressful situation. You're also, just with the group of early 20-year-olds, like you're going to clash.
Are the journal documents like uploaded
Yes.
on it? You can actually read those.
You can read all of them.
Okay. Because I'm interested to see what they were fighting about. Besides just
They don't really say. There is like one where the two girls were like, we're sleeping on this side of the tent and we're going to make Yuri sleep by the stove. And that's like the hottest part and you don't want to sleep there. And apparently he does, but he like gets too hot and he like curses them. And to me, it's like humorous, but then they say like, and then they argued some more. I don't know who they is. I don't know if it's the other boys. I don't know if it's one of the girls and Yuri. And there's one instance where Luda like sits down and like you're not supposed to sit down until like the tent is up and like all your work is done. And there was an argument about that. And she, instead of like having dinner with everyone, she just returns to the tent and like doesn't speak to anyone. And that's the day that Alex said, "Oh, it's my birthday." So I don't know if that was to ease tension.
So there was some tension, but enough to lead to something murderous? I don't know.
I don't think so.
It would have to be more than we know if there really was some kind of brewing conflict that would lead somebody to just go ballistic.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that.
No. And Yuri Yudin, so the guy who made it back home, he said they were all really good friends. Like the mood was good.
Well, yeah, that's just being friends, right?
Yeah.
I think there is partial infighting.
Yeah.
I mean, during the big thing. I think I do have it as part of my theory,
Yeah, it's part of my theory too. Like,
but it's not the main theory.
yeah, could be a government cover-up. Maybe there was weapon testing in the area. It was very remote area where like you can shoot off rockets and like not worry too much about it hitting a populated area. So maybe one of those accidentally hit the hikers, or like they saw some classified stuff. And so the government was like, we got to cover this up, make it look like an accident, like something else happened. So maybe that's why things are weird and there seems to be missing pieces. Government cover up. I personally don't think it's like I don't think Moscow is in this cover up. I think it's, if anything, it's like the local police who are like, ooh.
Yeah, maybe somebody just in charge of, if there's weapons testing here,
Yeah.
they must have some kind of specialized, like, keep these weapons under wraps kind of
Yes.
enforcers. So maybe that's who we're dealing with.
Possibly.
But also, I mean, it also is during the nuclear arm race. Like,
That's true. Yeah.
So I feel like this is a very high tension moment that, like, they can easily get confused and
Yeah.
do something that they.
I didn't write
Cover
it
up some
down,
people.
but another theory is it was the Americans. Like they parachuted down and like
They red dot them.
Yeah.
yes.
See, where I thought that was going to go, which is probably a different theory, is that maybe whoever killed them thought they were there to spy, like sent
what I
by
think,
Americans.
yeah.
Or,
Possibly. At least one of them did know English.
That's true. We did have one that spoke some English. So
I
interesting.
mean, you speak Russian after that. Like,
Yeah.
no. We're
And also
not
spoke
spies.
German, like the enemy's language for the last war.
I would say, but also if you were a spy, you would probably know
That's true.
Russian. Like, I mean, you're gonna spy, you have to know the language.
Yeah, a spy is supposed to blend in, so you would have to know Russian.
Could have been a natural disaster. Could have been an avalanche. The thing with this theory is, yeah, an avalanche could have like a slab avalanche. which I think we go into, could have hit the tent, but the avalanche type injuries don't happen until later, very far away. And the type of chest injury was like, you would survive 10 minutes, and it takes longer than 10 minutes to walk down the hill, sort of thing.
And the slab, just for review, that was like what they constructed so their tent would be out of the wind. That's like the thing where you build up snow on one side and it kind of rolls over your tent. So that's what this is talking about. Like that might have collapsed on them, or...
So it's about the angle. For a long time, people were like, the angle's not steep enough for an avalanche to happen. So yeah, that little cutout they made to protect themselves from the wind, above them was a very slight slope.
Mango.
And they think it wasn't like a proper avalanche. It was like hard packed snow and then powdery snow on top that like accumulated, got to some breaking point and just slid off in one slab. So it wouldn't be like a devastating avalanche.
No, it's not like all the snow in the world comes down on top of you, but this big slab of snow would just impact you like a car in this way. So
I'm just going to take a quick pause.
Yeah.
I'm going to open the door for Mango because that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's really just because
he just wants in.
R.I.P.
Adam has the door closed. If that door was open, he would not be whining.
We've found the root of the problem. If we can solve that mystery, we can solve this one. Theory. They didn't leave the door open for their cat. And
That's...
cat went ballistic. Nobody talks about the cat they brought along.
Yeah.
That's the cover-up.
Yeah. So under natural disasters, it could have also been a storm. It is very windy in the Ural Mountains. They, in like the Russian documents that have been translated to English, they call it a hurricane. I think they just mean like a windstorm that's not quite a blizzard.
So a hurricane would mean something different to them than it would to us, because there's no way like a tropical cyclone.
I was also, I was like thinking like, would they get a hurricane?
Not be in this part of the world.
There's something lost in translation, I believe.
Yeah.
Because Georgia hurricane.
Yes.
Okay, we need to do a deep dive into the etymology of the word hurricane, because it probably does come from some kind of like mighty wind meaning.
Weather expert.
I don't know. I did look up if there are hurricanes in the like the North Arctic Sea, and there's not.
No.
But I don't know the etymology of hurricane.
Well, I mean, it's from a little research, but also just about hurricanes in general.
I do like a hurricane in a completely normal way. But it is very windy. In one of the last journal entries, Igor Dyatlov, so the leader who is like just recording the weather, he says the wind is so loud, it's like a jet engine. So it was very windy, and it can get up to hurricane force winds, like the speed of. Okay.
I wonder if that's where the word hurricane sort of comes from. Maybe that's what it meant originally, just a wind of that force.
Maybe.
And then you get to the part of the world where there actually are tropical cyclones that get the wind up to that speed. So that's hurricane. Yeah,
I think that's how also they decide the types of hurricanes. That part of it is the categories.
Yeah, is the wind speed.
The wind speed.
Yeah, so we talked about animal attacks under the Yeti. There's some sound anomalies that some people throw out. There is this thing called the vortex street, which is pictured here, where like kind of like a hurricane where the momentum of circulation spins off into more circulations, which that momentum spins off into more circulation. And apparently it makes this sound that is spooky. And
I would love to hear a recording of that. I want to know what that sounds like.
There's also infrared sound. I don't know if it's connected to the vortex street, but you can see a lot of this in like ghost hunting, where there's like some electrical box is making an infrared sound. Infrared? That's what
just
infrasound.
From the frequency of infrared?
I don't know. Infrasound, where it's not audible to the human ear, but we can still pick it up, and it makes us paranoid, and like something's not quite right.
Interesting. So like you can't hear it, but it still makes the brain you get the heebie-jeebies.
Exactly. I don't know if it's enough to cause panic.
Yeah. But I wonder how long they were exposed to it. I mean, that would be the other factor. I wonder how long people have been exposed to this infrasound and whether it's been studied long-term exposure.
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's also kind of interesting, like think about like what kind of things cause panic, like a mass panic. Because I was just listening to like something recent TikTok about. It reminded me of the dance plague.
Yeah.
that happened.
That's right,
The whole
the dance
town started
plague.
dancing.
Yeah.
From first started dancing, and they all started dancing, and it had a whole plague based off
Yeah.
of this.
That could also, yeah, I didn't write that down, but that's another good theory, like a folia do, the folly of two, where like your psychosis, like you play
Yeah.
off of each other's psychosis and you do things you normally wouldn't do.
Yeah, see, that's fascinating to me because a personal interest of mine is sound frequencies and what they do to our brains.
yeah.
Like, just thinking about the brown note, like that's always the example
Yes.
I bring up where like there's a note that just makes you lose your bowel movement. And You
Yeah.
just go in your pants. But if there's that, what else is there? And I've always thought about that. Are there frequencies that make you feel certain moods? Is
Yeah,
there
it
something
has
people
to,
could
yeah.
discover? And could it be weaponized? Like, I 100% believe that if like the government or whoever figured out how to weaponize these frequencies to make us just like freeze like a deer in the headlights, they would use that against all of us.
Absolutely. So it is in the Ural Mountains. There's a ton of mines, a ton of ore. So there could have been a geological explosion, like people TNTing some ore out of the ground, and there's just an accident. There was uranium in the ground, so that can't be radioactive. Is it radioactive in its rock form? I'm not sure.
I assumed it was at least a little bit.
Yeah. So that could explain the radiation on the clothing. And it could have been a UFO. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I went through like every single day of their journey. I don't think we need to do that. I do want to mention about the in-group fighting. I hate to be a victim blamer. I don't want to blame them for their deaths. I'm just stating some observations. I'm so sorry. So in the very beginning, Xena writes that all the boys are like trying not to smoke. They're not going to smoke on the trip. If you just go cold turkey, sometimes you do get very anxious, very irritable.
That's true.
This could fuel conflict. There were also two leaders in the group, two leader types. There's Igor Dyatlov, who's the leader of the group. And there was Sasha, who was like the lead tour guide in his area of expertise. So he could have, and he's like 10 years older than them. So he could have come in and being like, I'm older, I have more experience. I don't agree with what you're saying. And there could have been some conflict, like who should be in charge. And possibly in very high stress situations, there could have been some blame going around. It's like, say whatever happens, they cut their way out of the tent. Their tent is now in shreds. They could be like, oh, this is all your fault. You're the reason we don't have a tent anymore. Yeah. And this could have resulted in some sort of fist fight.
I also just want to say, too, about that. I mean, they're having very long days.
Yes, exactly.
A lot of hiking. They probably are eating okay, but like still, usually you get hungry and stuff. And it's very easy to get kind of angry in these situations. Yeah. It's stressful regardless.
And it takes 2 hours to set up the tent.
Yeah.
2 hours to take it down.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you have to do. You're just constantly on your toes. You're constantly on high alert. I think that would weigh on somebody's mind, especially if there are already certain things that they don't like about each other in these small ways. Those would build pretty fast. You'd start blaming each other if something were to go wrong. It's very Blair Witch Project to me. Because like if you watch that movie, it's kind of what happens where they're in the wilderness and they're freaking out about being lost and they start pointing fingers at each other. Like, you threw the map away. No, it was you. And they just get at each other's throats. So I totally believe that can happen.
And we say this because the three who died on the slope, Xena, Igor, and Rustem, they all had like fighting wounds on their knuckles, like bruised knuckles. And just the three of them. There's so many unanswered questions.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I could lean toward. Like, okay, maybe they had to fight it out because they're so like high stress that one of them just lashes out, and then some kind of boxing match happens. Somebody else gets in, like, hey, you guys break it up, and gets hit in the process.
Yeah,
it could happen.
My only hang up with that is it is the 1950s, and like I don't see them hitting Xena. Maybe I can see her hitting them back though.
But also at the same time, I can see them hitting her because a lot of people were getting beating their wives and beating other people. Like, they might be gentlemen, but they also might be like power dominance.
Oh, maybe, yeah. It's also the 1950s.
So, yeah.
That's
so
true.
it
It's
goes
two
both
sides
ways.
of that coin.
Yeah.
Or maybe Xena was the one trying to break up the boys and just got hit in the process. Yeah. Assuming that's even what happened. We don't know, but that's something I could envision.
Yeah, in my theory, Rustem is the one who he gets the injury to the head. He dies of hypothermia, but like the injury to the head would have killed him. In my theory, he gets hit hard enough and he's the first to die, possibly. Mm-hmm. And the other theories, it's usually the two Yuris at the cedar tree who are the first to die. No way of knowing. That's just my little theory. But a little comment about the weather. This is one of the last pictures they took. Mm. And the visibility is very low, about 100 to 200 meters.
That's eerie as hell, knowing it's one of their last pictures. It looks like they're walking into the beyond.
Yeah, it's real creepy. So like the weather was getting worse. And like we don't have any evidence because it was so remote and because it was the 1950s. Mm-hmm. We don't know exactly what the weather was like, but we have like data from towns around it. So we know it was, I want to say, I didn't write it down. I'm not going to say, but it's like negative 20s, negative 30s, negative 40s, somewhere in that area. And the wind was getting stronger. So going back to the Mansi point, I don't like this theory, but this is the theory people have. There is a Mansi chum, which this is the picture they use, that was found 1 kilometer away from where the bodies were found.
And that's called a chum?
It's called a chum. Think of it like a yurt. Mm. Like it's just a temporary shelter. This is not a chum. This is what was found 1 kilometer away. This is not a chum. This is like, because there's a deer skull hanging on it. This was probably either like a hunter's, like 1-2 person little temporary shelter, or it could have been like, we killed a reindeer here. Mm-hmm. I don't think they'd kill reindeer, but
they do, but yeah.
Okay. So, and then you like hung the skull up like, we killed this here.
It's a little celebration thing.
But it is weird that they would put it out there, the skull. That's the weird part to me.
I don't know.
To leave it there. Because that's something you take home. That's a trophy. Yeah. That's when you want to show off to people. But yeah, we do kill reindeer. That's caribou.
I know, but they also herd reindeer. So I don't know if reindeer's more useful in the herd.
I guess it's just...
People just enjoy hunting.
That's true.
Or I wonder, I have no idea what this culture in this tribe is all about, but maybe that's like a warning kind of thing. If it has a skull left on it deliberately. I wonder if that was left potentially as some kind of thing to warn others, like there's something treacherous here, or
just to creep people out. But it's not like it's very desert. It's not much people there.
Yeah. I mean, there's like hunting trails and that's about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And another reason people think it's the Mansi is there's Mansi trail markers on the trees. There's like several pictures of them and they're gorgeous, but they are very mysterious. It's some language we don't understand. What could it be saying?
People get hung up on that when it's probably just like, here's the trail.
Yeah, they're like 1 more kilometer.
It's not actually the Blair Witch Project, guys, just because there's stuff built out of sticks and you don't know what it means.
Here's a map of all the gulags.
Every gulag there was.
And the one circled is the one at the town they left from. So not in the mountains.
But that's the nearest gulag?
Yes. So some theories that are kind of out of left field, but seem plausible to me. So they had a stove that was suspended that Igor built himself. And we think that they had a cold night that night where like they weren't using the stove for extra XP. Mm-hmm. But if they had, what if it had fallen on them? What if like they got burned and they got all smoked up and they needed to really quickly get out of the tent? So, and they have a diagram of where people were sleeping at the time. This is not accurate. We don't have the exact placement. We do have the placement given once by Luda. We have no reason it's not even this. We have no reason to believe it was like that every night.
So it could have varied up. We don't know where it really would have been.
Exactly.
And wouldn't they have found, I mean, this is just me thinking, but they would have found some kind of burned up fabric of the tent or something if there was a stove collapse that lit something on fire, I would think.
Exactly. My point exactly.
There was no evidence.
No. But what if it was a tree that fell on them?
A tree.
It could explain like there's different parts of a tree that are heavier than others. It could explain the variety of different injuries. There's no trees around the tent.
So I would say
It's
Yeah.
Dead Mountain.
I was thinking that, like, were there trees around?
No,
Like, there
it
weren't.
was Dead Mountain.
There's like that cedar tree we saw. We were like, the big cedar, like it's this big tree. It's a
Yeah.
small tree, but it's big for the area because there's
Yeah.
nothing there.
There isn't a tree near the tent, unless one blew down somewhere else and then rolled all the way over onto them.
Exactly.
Up a hill. Up a hill. It's like
Yeah,
the Chef
explain that.
Boyardee can.
Chef Boyardee can, yeah.
How it goes like crazy distances and always obstacles.
It was alive. There was something pushing it.
Yeah.
The Yeti dropped a tree on them.
Maybe. Maybe the tent was trampled by reindeer. Like a reindeer stampede sometimes. They have their game trail. They're prey animals, right? Well, they have a trail they usually go by. And if you set up some tent in the trail, they're not going to veer out of the way. They're just going to trample over you. And I will say, like, the a lot of the skull fractures do kind of look like the size of hoofs.
Okay.
So that's like plausible to me. I don't know. There's too many other weird things.
Okay, the only reason I would think that is maybe the sound of them seeing the weird space of a thing that being in the air. Maybe that would scare them and they would run, but I don't think they would typically. That's not normal.
Okay, now my mind is combining the theories of, like, strange objects flying in the air, unidentified things flying in the air, and reindeer, and thinking Santa. Santa was on his rounds just coming back to the North Pole from some secret mission, and
Santa ran over Granny. Like,
if Grandma got run over by a reindeer, then it could happen to these people too.
It was February.
Uh-huh.
It was the
So
end of January.
Santa would have been done with his work. He's taken some months off.
He could do some training. Like, he get some new reindeer. Who
We
haven't
don't
been
know
trained.
what else he does the rest of the year. It could be all kinds
He goes
of
to
things.
Hawaii. I do know that.
Uh-huh.
That's just from being in the North Pole in Alaska.
And then moving to Hawaii.
Well, no. I went to Hawaii. I lived in Hawaii beforehand. But no, that's where he goes when it's not Christmas. There would be a sign. He's like, he's not here.
That's cute.
So
aliens.
there's a theory.
So that thing in the sky, that was probably Soviet rockets. It could have been a UFO. And so one of the Yuris under the cedar tree had that gray foam coming from his mouth. That was like a result of, I think it was heart failure. And it could happen from rapid altitude sickness. So kind of like when divers go up too quickly.
Yeah, like getting the bends.
Yes. So the theory is that they were abducted, or at least Yuri was abducted very quickly into the atmosphere. And perhaps the radiation comes from how high they were.
Wow.
And because airplanes, you get radiation when you're in an airplane.
That's true. You're away from the protective
also-
layers of the earth.
Aliens might have radiation just naturally on their things.
That's
We don't
true.
know what they use.
We
The
don't-
technology.
Yeah, we don't know if they're radioactive.
But that's the alien evidence there.
Yeah. So the government cover up, it was probably like, oh shit, we messed up. Our rocket crashed. So we got to clean up the area. There are some. So recently SpaceX launched something, I think off the coast of the Bahamas, and like debris from this launch was just like huge chunks of just rocket debris falling on the beaches, in the water, washing up on shore. It's not implausible to me that debris from a rocket fell, injured these hikers. The government comes to clean it up, like says, oh no, oh shit, we messed up. So they take away all the evidence that a rocket happened, but they still have to be like, oh, we got to investigate.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Also, 1950s. Nuclear arm race.
Yes.
It makes it more realistic to me that could happen.
So both Yuri and Alexander Sasha, were working at those nuclear facilities. They could have been on a secret mission from Moscow, and maybe something went wrong, so the government has to cover it up. And the U.S. could have attacked.
This random spot in Russia.
Yes.
They've made it all the way in just to kill these people.
Yeah.
They red dawned that one area.
So some evidence behind the government cover-up is that this case was opened February 6th. They did not go missing until, what was it? Oh, gosh. They were supposed to get back the 12th of February. So they didn't even know they should be
You know,
missing
like
yet.
February 20th or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
When they like officially were like.
So either they knew whatever happened before anyone else, or it was a typo.
I could see some kind of clerical error. Through, but it's very suspicious if it isn't. I mean, that's the flip of the coin there. Like, do you give them the, okay, maybe they made a little blooper. And if the answer is no, then that's very suspicious.
Yes. And they also do like Roman numerals. So like, we're going to have to like zoom in. This is like opened 1959 the year, but they wrote down 1959 really big when they didn't have to. So it's just 6 and then 2 Roman numerals. This looks like a 4 to me.
Yeah.
It does look like a 4.
April 6th still doesn't make sense. But that would have been closer to when the last 4 bodies were found.
True.
Or they just didn't write down the last stroke for March. Or they forgot to write the 1 or 2 in front of the 6. That could have been a typo easily.
I guess that happens. I mean, how many of these things do these people have to work through?
That's true.
Maybe there's just a lot they have to go in and just type it, write stuff in. And
Exactly.
they get into a rhythm of it and they stop thinking so hard about it. Maybe it's just a little, I didn't make one pen stroke.
You're paid for the paperwork, not the truth.
True.
And also, I mean, if you're working and someone's talking to you, like there's always times where I start writing down like what they're saying to me on accident, and I'm like, oops, like I was not trying to do that.
Or it could have just been military police incompetence, and they didn't. The government cover up was like, oh, we don't want to embarrass ourselves because we didn't record everything we should have, sort of thing. The problem could be too much bureaucracy. There's just too much paper. And you can't get nothing done. And the important details don't get mentioned or recorded. Alex? Yes, Alexander, his boss. He's the one who got into Moscow. So his boss telegrams to the city that they had left from, being like, I hear my former employee had gone missing. Tell me what happened. And they reply that like the hikers died, very short, but like the employer keeps asking, like, you tell me what happened exactly.
And he won't? Like there's no reply that explains anything?
No, or their telegrams are getting lost in the mail.
Suspiciously.
Possibly. Yeah. So it's just weird that this employer cares so much about a former employee. And this is the one who like resigned, and they were like, no, there's no reason to resign. I'm going to send you to a new facility. So very suspicious. Why do they care so much about this one guy?
It does seem suspicious.
Yes. Okay. I think that's done with the slides, but I do want to talk about Alexander. Because so you read this case and you're like, Sasha's the one who's out of place. He's the one who doesn't quite make sense. He's the most mysterious and suspicious. I think there's more to Alex because he does not show up in the photographs very often. He could be just the one taking the pictures. It just seems odd. And like, he's one of the boys who didn't write a journal, which is like 3 of the boys didn't write a journal. But yeah, he has the Moscow connection. He seems to have higher up connections. And they were getting, so Yuri Yudin, so the guy who made it back, he in particular was interested in like geological samples. So they were getting like quartz and stuff out of the ground. And at one point, one of the girls is writing that Yuri and Alexander go and they're like digging up or drilling, depending on the translation, up the rock. And they say that Alexander's testing out his new machine, whatever that means.
His new machine.
Yes.
And there's no description of the machine.
No, but it's in the area of they're looking for rocks. So this could have been, in my conspiratorial opinion, that this could have been like something new from Moscow and he's testing it out. Maybe something went wrong later. Maybe it wasn't just like a drill. Maybe it was a radiation oriented thing, like searching for radiation, or a thing that finds uranium really well, or
or it could just be a rock tumbler.
It could.
Let's see what kind of crystals are in here. Let's see how nice this rock looks when I do a rock tumble. That's how I imagine it.
Very weird. All right. Do we want to get into our own theories? Do you have any questions or do you need reminders?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that's a pretty good recap
Yes.
right there and an overview of what
theories.
people think out there. Yeah, I'm wondering, as far as my own theories go, and I do not feel that I have the authority to say that any of these theories hold any weight. Because I've only just learned about all this and I'm still kind of reeling from it. But where my mind keeps going is experimental weapon. Like, I just cannot stop thinking about it and trying to come up with ideas in my mind of what it could have been. Like, obviously there's the sonic frequency weapon idea that I had about, like, they were testing something that makes people just freak the hell out, like a frequency that suddenly makes them go ballistic.
Yeah.
I could see that existing, even if it's kind of a science fiction idea. Either that or if it's more of a missile thing. I wonder if it was almost like some kind of missile designed less to kill or just destroy a whole environment and more to release something, maybe even some kind of radiation that just affects people and makes them like somehow react.
There are, there was a theory on like a dirty bomb where like it's not an explosion, it's like a biological or radiation bomb.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be something that just blows up a crater in the earth, but something that just releases something either like poisonous or something that affects people in this sort of way that would be subterfuge of some kind.
All right, I drew a map of what we're talking about. So we got the tent up on the hill. We got the 3 bodies on the slope, 2 bodies under the cedar, and then this line is the ravine. They got their den, and then the 4 who died in the ravine. So who wants to go first? You don't have to use this, but
Yeah.
I just feel like the only reason I want to use it is just because you drew it. And I feel like I should because it's here. But
if you want to do some lines, you can.
I do have to do that. Okay. So we have the case here.
Yes.
I think maybe a minor avalanche happened. Just kind of knocked it over. Maybe from hearing also the sound of the rocket or missile, whatever it is, flying over, whether it was a crash or something. Maybe they heard it and some snow fell because of that, freaking them out. So they couldn't get out their normal way. They're freaking out. They hear this weird sound that they've never heard, did not expect to hear, and now are cutting their way out of the tent. So I think that they would then make their way down to the tree. I think they were cutting up a tree, having their fire, and I do think that's where the first 2 people die. And I think that does add to the tension because they're already scared.
Yeah.
I think at that point, that's when the leadership problem comes up. I think Sasha's going to be wanting to make the little den.
Yes.
He's going to want the den. While the other one's thinking, let's go back up. Let's get back to the tent. That's the safe place. Like, that's where we need to be. Maybe we can salvage the tent still. That's their part. So I think they do get into a physical fight trying to decide who is the leader of the thing. So that's why we get their injuries. They start making their way back up. Again, it's -30, -40, you know. That's where they end up
Wind
dying.
chill, very low visibility.
Yeah, and they had some really bad injuries. So that's in the dying. They could also see each other. So I think also they just kept going and not knowing that the other ones were dying always.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a possibility. Or he was just like, everyone died. I need to get back up. Then he need to get to the tent.
Yeah.
Every man for themselves kind of thing. So they go up there. I think this is when I get a little bit weird with my idea for these 4.
It is a weird case.
I think that they set up the den.
Yes.
And I think they went out. And I think there was a mine somewhere. And I think that's what they stepped on or stepped near to, or something caused it to go off. And that is how they get their big injuries, how they get the car crash level injuries. And I think that when they came in, I do think the military knew something went on because they probably went to go examine a crash or a missile or finding out that a mine went off, you know, that kind of thing. I think they did clear up some things. I think they cleaned up the mine. I think that was cleaned up.
I will also
the rocket.
say like the snow around them was 6 feet deep. So like they couldn't find 4 bodies for months. They could have easily not been able to find any debris of anything or a mine.
Also, there was water that they were found in, so that could have been washed away.
It's true.
So
as well.
But I think that's how they got their big injuries. And they might have also they might have been staged in the place that they were later found.
That's also
That's
a theory.
possibility. I also think, or they could have just landed that weird way or crawled from their
That's also-
injuries. And that's just how they ended up dying. Maybe he tried to snuggle up a little bit to get warm as he's feeling so cold as he's dying, and that's how he died.
Yeah.
Still cuddling a little bit.
Yeah. You want to die with your friends, not alone in the den.
That's true.
So I do think the military maybe did a sweep. Maybe they didn't find them. Maybe they cleaned up a little bit. Or found out some things, and it's kind of like was like, okay, let's come back and find these people if they actually are people are looking for them.
Yes.
Because if it's just up here and no one's looking for them, they can just disappear. That's fine. But people were looking for them, so they had to come up here. They had to do a thing of it, and that's how they started finding the body. So that's my idea.
I do like this.
That's
Some
really well
similarities
thought
with
out.
So
mine.
yeah, I'll give it
Yeah.
drawing. So that's my idea on it. That's how I took my notes. I had like, I also think Bigfoot witnessed it. I think Bigfoot witnessed it.
But didn't do the crime.
No, I don't think he did a crime. He might have been in the
around.
area. He might have saw something weird. I think we should ask Bigfoot what happened. But
If we ever find him, that's the first thing we got to ask.
yeah,
Were you there?
so that's what I'm thinking. I did draw an arrow to him. So,
Yeah. He's
so-
connected somehow.
yeah, so that's my theory there.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting that you mentioned a landmine because there were those people that were brought there specifically to sweep for landmines, or that was their
That's true.
expertise.
They're like, we can help by bringing the minesweepers, and they said we don't need that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if they didn't need
Yeah.
that, they didn't need it, but they would have known. If you accept the theory they knew everything right at the start, they would have known there's mines there. So we're just going to act nonchalant about it, but we got to bring these people who are really good at sniffing out where mines are. Why do we need them? I don't know.
Also, there's a lot of weird places that mines and bombs are. Like, there's a whole, like, there's a bomb near Tybee or whatever that they say.
Yeah, that's the thing, the missing bombs.
Yeah, there's a missing bomb there. So, like, that's just a normal thing.
It's just a normal thing.
Yeah, sometimes it happens and they still don't know where those are.
That's
I think
wild.
when that happens, they usually say too, like, just leave it alone.
Oh, yeah, don't touch
It's
it.
better not to even look for it because
Yeah.
that would probably have a risk of setting it off. So how many bombs are missing in Russia? Probably a lot. Who
But
knows?
also, and again, in the 1950s, Russia.
Yes.
So I could see that. And it's also like not many people go up to Dead Mountain. Like,
Yeah.
there's not much up there. So, you know,
Yeah.
you can lose a mine or two there.
Yeah, if that happened there, they're probably thinking, all right, we cut our losses. The chances are not great. Anything will happen with this missing thing. We're going to leave it there. But lo and behold, perhaps someone just walked in the wrong place and set it off.
I will say the Dead Mountain was not on their route. Like, they went out of their way to go to Dead Mountain.
And do we know why? Is there any explanation in journals like why they're making this detour?
They don't really say. I think it was the plan all along because Igor's last journal, he says, oh, it's so nice and cozy in the tent. I can't imagine what being on the ridge in the wind will be like.
So maybe it was just to get out of the wind, like have a natural barrier of the mountain and make it a little easier.
And also,
when they're
we
camping.
felt like maybe the valley also probably had more snow.
Yes.
Because they were on a slope, so snow goes down there,
Yeah.
and it would have been, he would have been walking in very, very deep snow, and
Yeah.
not fun to do.
I will say they only went 2 kilometers that day before stopping on the slope. I don't know why. But the theory is they wanted to keep the altitude so they didn't have to like climb up what they've already climbed the next morning. And also, in theory, when you wake up on the slope, you can see their destination on the horizon. So like, you know where you're going.
It's also kind of glow motivation, like, hey,
Yeah, exactly.
like, I can see it. I can get there.
We know exactly where
I
we're
can
headed.
survive it because I'm assuming they're in a lot of pain. You're hiking so much.
Yes.
Probably don't have that much food just because you have to carry it all.
Yeah.
So, and it's like not the greatest food because you have to bring it with you. And I'm just imagining they're hungry and tired and exhausted and in pain. It's also cold.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I can't even imagine being out in that wilderness in that amount of snow and freezing wind and stuff. Like, it's not even in my imagination what that would be like. I would never. I've just never been in that kind of climate before.
No.
It's just like way outside my wheelhouse. Like,
lived in Alaska.
Kelsey would definitely be the expert here on being in that kind of weather.
I did live in Alaska.
Would you like the diagram?
I don't think I need the diagram. I really think I can't do it better than Kelsey as far as like the order that things may have happened and what it might have been. My only thought is that my mind is still on this thing, or it's not just a missile. it's something a little more sinister, something a little more experimental, something that would necessitate covering up just to even prove that it existed or had some part to play in this case. And I would totally buy, just with my obsession with sonic frequencies affecting moods and mind states, that it could have been something designed specifically to put people in a frenzy.
Yeah.
Which could explain, like, it'd be sort of a Deus Ex Machina explanation, but like, why did they just go so ballistic?
Yeah.
I mean,
everything happens so fast.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So this thing comes down from the sky. It's some kind of missile launch, and it lands, and it starts emitting this frequency you can't hear, but it's designed to make you go into a frenzy. And this was like, let's watch what happens to these hikers. If you want to put some like hand wringing into it, there's some villain from a Bond movie or something somewhere watching, like, what was it going to do to them? But this is my crazy sci-fi plot adaptation of this.
We could make a whole movie off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have thought like this would be, it's real people, but I'm like,
not that situation, but
No,
like
you could
there's
make
certain
an
aspects of
adaptation.
it. Yeah. I mean, just the idea of like, instead of a quiet place where you can't make a sound, like there's a sound that's getting you, or what's it called? The movie where you had to be blindfolded.
Bird Box.
Bird Box.
There was that thing where you can't even look
They
at
couldn't
it.
even look. So it's like, well, then what about if we just can't hear it? So you have to like cover your ears and this.
Yeah,
kind of
if
thing
you hear the
happens.
frequency, it turns you into this like human zombie that just wants to murder. That would be an interesting movie.
It would.
Like, I think more than solving this case, we're just coming up with a really cool movie here. But
I mean,
I'm fine with that.
That's why we're filmmakers on the side of
Yes.
our podcast.
We have to write these ideas
We gotta
down.
do both. We got balance.
Yeah, I was already writing it into a novel about like the whole idea that they want a frequency, or the Illuminati or whoever is like in charge of all of us and we don't know it. They want a frequency that just makes us freeze and like lose all will to fight. That's what I thought the ultimate weapon would be. But this is making me think about like, what if it's a frequency that makes us want to fight and just act so stupidly that like we're going to do something insane
That's
or
pretty
bring on the apocalypse.
Yeah, so think about it like too, it's like our biggest weapon is like us teaming up together. So if we're against each other.
That's so true.
It's true. And I think that's like, it's interesting because like having anxiety, I've thought about that a lot, like gut reactions when you get to that level of anxiety, you're not even thinking and you have to just snap judgment, like fight or flight type stuff. I always use the term Tharn with anxiety, which is, I think it was from Watership Down. I love Watership Down. That's like one of my favorite books, but it's a word that literally means like you're frozen in terror and you can't even think. So you kind of just accept whatever happens to you. Like a deer in the headlights pretty much that's what the word would be, Tharn. So I came up with the sonic weapon is called Tharn Beam. It just shoots this frequency at you and just takes your will to do anything away. So you just accept whatever's coming for you. And I also compare that a lot in my head to, in DC Comics, there's something called the anti-life equation, which all it is just like showing someone proof that their life is meaningless, existence is meaningless, and you shouldn't fight for anything. So you just like essentially go Tharn. That's what that weapon is. And it's the ultimate weapon in DC Comics. So that's where my mind goes with this like frequency stuff. But it is interesting to think about like our human strength is the fact that we can work together to overcome anything. There's enough of us that like if we have cooler heads that prevail, we can overcome any problem. But if you take that ability of us away by making us just go Tharn or making us like freak out, we can't do anything. We're just like slaves to our instincts.
Oh my God.
So very heavy stuff. But
I was looking into MK Ultra recently, so it tracks.
MK Ultra is also very much in that vein of like, what if we just mess with people's heads? What happens to them?
Oh my gosh. Very good
But
theory.
crazy thoughts to have here about this mysterious case.
Now you think I got here big Emily's.
Yeah,
big
Emily,
thing
do you
on
have
it.
any thoughts of your own?
I did
What's your
a
view? What's your drawing?
Yeah.
So I think the biggest problems are them leaving without shoes and why they die outside the den, the last four. So I think there could have been an avalanche, or they could have thought there was an avalanche coming. So they had to get out of the tent quickly. They do exit towards the slope. So I think it is most likely whatever danger was coming from the mountaintop. So a slab avalanche covers their tent. They, for some reason, they can't get out through the entrance. Somehow that's inaccessible to them. So they have to cut their way out. once they're out, their tent is ripped to shreds. Snow gets in. Everything's wet now. That's my theory on why they don't bring their shoes. Because you put your feet in wet shoes. First of all, your feet are going to be cold. Second of all, they could freeze in there. That's not great either. And they're out there in -30 with wind chill, frostbite in minutes, hypothermia within hours. So they're like, we have to get warm immediately because we just got dunked in snow. So they run down the hill to the forest line because there's no trees up here. And they did have one single log for the stove. I'm like, why would they just not use the stove? The stove was put away. I think it takes a second to put it all together.
Yeah,
And you have to suspend it from the tent that is now ruined. So they make a little fire at the cedar tree, but visibility is very low. They're like, okay, eventually we have to get back to the tent. So someone, I don't know if I mentioned this, someone drops a flashlight like midway on so they could find their way back.
Oh, so that was like leaving breadcrumbs type thing, or that's the way the tent is if we lose our visibility.
Possibly. There is also a flashlight on top of the tent, never turned on. So I don't know what that's about. So I think there was like an argument or a diplomatic, like this group does this, that group does this. I think one group was like, we got to make the den. And the other group was, we're going to go back to the tent for some reason. But so either there was a fight first or the two Yuris, they climb the tree. Maybe they fall out of the tree, maybe fall in the fire. They get injuries and they're the ones who die the fastest for whatever reason, because they still don't have shoes. And that's a problem. And like, the problem is, why did they not go back for their shoes? I think they did. I think they were trying to go back. That's what they were
doing when they died on that slope?
I think so. And just everything happened so fast that this was their one and only attempt. It could have happened very quickly, and they just never made it. And this flashlight does die. We don't know when, but I'm just like, if this was a movie, you're crawling up the slope, you see the flashlight, you're like, I'm going to make it, and it goes out.
Yeah, it would. I can picture it.
Another problem is, why did like the remaining not return to the tent? Obviously, it's very cold. They're the most well-dressed, though, because they were taking clothes from the others. I think, so the tent was either unreachable or useless to them. So I think because it was shredded, and if there was an avalanche soaked, there's no point going back except to get your shoes. But so the two Yuris, in the little summary on dyatlovpass.com, they are covered in a blanket, burial shroud style. This is not, I don't think this is like in the official document, so this might not even be true. But if it is, where did they get the blanket?
Yeah,
and who had a blanket already?
If they did have a blanket, to like sacrifice it by giving it to a corpse instead of using it is interesting.
Yeah. So did someone go back, get a blanket, and not take anything else with them? I don't know.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy. There is a theory that like at least one person was alive longer than the others and like went back and then came back to die with their friends. Another problem, I do think, the last four lasted the longest. They had 4 seats in the den. So I think it was only these 4 left when they made the den. And they could have survived in the den. Why don't they stay in the den? I think whatever happens to cause their injuries, and I think it was Luda and Sasha who have the chest injuries, whatever happened to them. And then Thibaut is the one with like the skull fracture and was like probably concussed and never gained consciousness. I think he could have easily just like fallen down a little cliff in the ravine.
Oh, hit a rock or something.
Very easily. I don't think his death is too suspicious. And then Alexander, our mysterious Alexander, he is the one with the least amount of injuries and dies of hypothermia, next to his friends with the very serious injuries.
So do you think he's the one that if the theory is true that one lasted longer than the others, is that who you think it would be?
I think so. But like he was also one, I don't think he had shoes on. So like he would have taken someone's shoes by then. But just because of the lack of injuries, the lack of any mortal injuries, like he died of hypothermia. He probably would have survived the longest. I think he was like the last to die. And I think I do like them all laying together like they're in the den already and sleeping. They could have like built another den and the den collapsed on top of them. That could have happened, but I don't know if there's any evidence that
there was ever a second
den. And they're like on a ravine, that like a riverbed. But I think maybe they lasted long enough. Maybe pulled their friend Thibault to where everyone was, and Luda is the one like resting on the edge of the ravine. So maybe they all like crawled to each other in like their dying moments. And I think very much that like Alex like cuddled up to Sasha for warmth while everyone's dying. But the problem is the injuries. I don't know what caused it. It could have been like the person doing the autopsy said it looks like a shock bomb. Could have been that. I don't really think the rocket is connected. Unless it caused, I don't even think it caused them to come out of their tent. Because that would have been, oh, there's a light and a sound in the sky. We're just going to go out and look. I don't think it's frantic enough to...
I don't know. If you hear a sound of a rocket going off and like, you're in the middle of sleeping...
It would depend how close it was, I guess. Yeah. Or like whether it's making some sound that they've never heard.
But they said
like,
it was going near that area. So like it was probably really close to them. So they would have heard the sound. That would be pretty freaky.
It's possible. Or they could have been like, that's the sound of an avalanche. Because I've heard they're very loud as well.
Yeah, maybe they mistook it for an
And
avalanche.
also like they don't have like, you know, even if they didn't have like a normal sound, they don't have planes flying over them all the time. So even just the sound of a plane or like that kind of thing, that would freak someone out. They're not used to it. In the middle of nowhere, it's silence.
Yeah. I don't know if it's enough to destroy your tent, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. There is like a degree of franticness. And I think, I don't know.
That's where my crazy sci-fi plot idea just gives a Deus Ex Machina into this. But it could be anything.
That's why I think snow knocked it down.
Yeah, that just drives them into absolute fight or flight. And I do think it's also interesting that they seem to be making some decisions, if like the way you've kind of broken down what they did afterward is how it happened, that would either be like, depending on the situation, like they're not making rational decisions because something affected their mind, or they're trying to break down the tasks, or they're like just fighting about what should we do? There's one party that tries to do this while the other tries to do that. And I can't decide what it is.
But I also question some things too, because like it depends what kind of snow is in that area too, because some snow is dry and some snow is wet. And also to go on top of, because like in Fairbanks, Alaska, we can't make snowballs because our snow is so dry. You can still make you can still do a little bit of things, but they're not like real snowballs.
It doesn't stick together.
It's like dust.
This is fascinating.
So it's very dry. So that's one thing I think about is like, I don't really buy the idea that it would soak the tent because one, it's so cold, it would have froze everything in there.
That's true.
So even if their shoes got wet, it would freeze almost instantly.
That's true.
So I just don't buy the idea that it would be like soaking to the point that they have to worry about that killing them. So I can't buy that because I'm like,
fair enough. We're talking about the type of snow. How did they dig out the den?
But they're also down.
What do you mean?
They're down the slope a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah, this is like in the valley.
Yeah. Different types of snow.
Okay.
It can get drier the higher you're up.
So the wetter snow is further down? That sticks together and you can build a den out of it?
But I was thinking like, did they dig it with their hands?
Yeah, you can. Well, I mean, the thing is like we would see people all the time in Fairbanks. They would make the little whole thing of the snow and stuff. They'll make it, but the thing is that it's very fragile, so those can collapse on you. Yeah. So even if they were able to make one with the snow, like it still can be very dry and still be very fragile. Okay. So that could still play a part of it being a dry snow. It just isn't the same as like you have to feel the snow because it's very different in the winter when you like in Fairbanks versus Anchorage, where the snow like you make a snowball. Like it's very weird.
You need to make a PowerPoint on different types of snow.
Different kinds of
I'm
snow.
Well, I just like I think
fascinated.
about like the first snow of a year would be like the wettest snow, and then it's just so dry in Fairbanks, Alaska. Like there's no humidity. It's just so dry. The snow just doesn't do it as well. It also gets too cold to snow.
Yeah, and it would have been that cold. In your expert Alaskan expertise, do you think if a den collapsed, would you be able to tell a den was there, or would it just be like a?
The hard thing about it is just they could have just missed it. They could have just missed it somewhere.
Yeah, they could have not recorded it.
Yeah.
Like, why would they make 2 dens?
I just don't buy the fact that they made a second den. I think they made a first den,
Yeah,
and that was the den they were going to do. And then something happened,
yeah,
and they didn't make it into the den to stay warm. Like something there.
yeah. I don't know what that something was.
Still moved mine, but you know.
I think the only explanation that makes sense is some government something. Mm-hmm. Or if one of them is a Moscow agent and experimenting within the group and it went wrong.
Yeah, do you think maybe like if there's a Moscow agent in the group, he might have sabotaged the others or tried to like undermine their efforts to survive this or be a team?
I don't think so. I think it was just,
Okay, but what would be his motivation to survive? Like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go accept death.
Yeah, unless he was just sent on a
Gruesome way.
mission to do that.
if there was like Alexander's machine that he's testing out, if like he needs, like he's a hiker, he's gone hiking before. But if he has a job in Moscow and he needs just a rural area to test some medium machinery, this would be a good place to do it. But if something goes wrong, it can really go wrong.
I just don't think they would send a random group of people out there besides him, like with him. I think it would be like some interns, and if it was going to be anything, it was going to be some lab assistants.
Some fodder that they don't care what happens
Yeah, some people who can sign NDAs easily and never speak about what they saw out there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Soviet Russia. Weird things happen.
That's why I'm thinking even harder. That they would be so wanting to have make sure it's not skilled hikers. They wouldn't send skilled hikers up there, knowing that they could survive out there.
Yeah. I don't think,
because they come back and they tell the story.
yeah. I don't think anyone was intentionally killed. I don't think this is a grand conspiracy. Unless it was just, we messed up.
Yeah,
We're going to hide some evidence that
just got worse
proves
and
that we messed up or something.
yeah. That's what I'm thinking more. It leans more towards.
The mysterious machine was a sonic emitter. Could be.
And that's,
I'm just making wild guesses now. We don't know what the machine was.
I'm still gonna go rock tumbler just because it's
Rock
quartz.
tumbler.
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
looking for quartz and stuff.
If he was a
I
geologist,
don't know if
do
it
that.
was, I don't know if it was quartz, but
You
they're
kept
just looking for
mentioning it.
rocks and stuff.
I have it
Yeah.
written down wherever I put my notebook.
Some people are just also just really into rocks.
It's true.
yeah.
There are a lot of
There's
like, rock
times where
enthusiasts.
we're up in the mountains and I'm just like, oh, this is a good place to go look for fossils, and he'll just start picking up rocks.
Yeah.
So like that's a normal thing.
North Georgia is a good place for fossils.
It is. It's like one of like the Appalachian Mountains are some of like the oldest.
It was pyrite and quartz.
Pirate and
Yeah,
quartz.
that's right.
Okay, so he is looking for rocks.
But it was Yuri Yudin, the guy who makes it back, who was the geologist of the group.
But they all can just share the interest of rocks. I used to
Yeah.
collect rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they had a drill. Maybe.
Whatever.
It's just,
I mean, I was a
Machines.
kid, but I mean, if I got really into it, I mean,
that's true. That's
these
true.
are science smart kids. They might have the money and interest in that kind of stuff. I think about also with just because we were talking about one of our coworkers who was at the Smith Plantation
She
houses.
might see this.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing up the fact that they're at the house.
Why are you trying
But-
to dox me, Kelsey?
You're fine. You don't live near there. I'm doxing myself.
I'm worried about you.
No, but the big thing about that was that he went to the Civil War with a microscope.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just saying, I'm not against the idea that someone would go with a drill, and a drill could be really anything,
That's true.
any size.
Yeah, it just makes me think of like when they would send ships off to far off places like for military maneuvers or whatever, but there sometimes might be a scientist with them who's just hitching a ride to go like get a sample from wherever they're going. Like there's that movie Master and Commander that where like Paul Bettany was the scientist on the ship, just like going to the Galapagos Islands on the way of this ship that's just making military maneuvers. So I wonder if it's kind of like that, where like, all right, they're here to hike to someplace, but there's a chance there might be some good geology research happening on
Yeah.
the way. So this guy's like, I'll tag along and I'll see if I can get some rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can have your own personal, like, your personal research things you're doing. You're like, hey, I
Yeah,
want to see.
they all have different reasons for wanting to be there. And his is just like, I want to see the rocks.
Yeah. I like a good hike and I like some rocks.
Oh,
Yeah.
I will say also, Alexander was the one in the back of the group drawing the route and the topography.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's suspicious, but
also, I think portfolio.
yeah.
Let me go show people I can my skills.
Yeah.
Hire me for all these other jobs. That's what I think about that.
Maybe.
There's also misinformation that it was a new moon, so completely dark. It was not. It was a waning crescent.
So they had some light by night. It wasn't
Yeah.
just like complete darkness.
It depends on the visibility of like the wind
snow
and
and
the
the
snow.
wind.
Yeah. If it were a full moon when all this happened, there would be whole different discussions happening.
It'd be more Yetis. It might be 2 Yetis.
Yeah.
A were Yeti.
The Were Yeti.
One of them was a were Yeti.
Oh my God. It could happen. I mean, I'm still kind of thinking about the Hulk theory. Gamma radiation. One of them turned into the Hulk.
Crazy.
The guy who lived the longest and died of just hypothermia was the Hulk, and he killed all the rest of them.
Or there was another person who was part of it who had the gamma ray thing. He came to halt. He attacked them, and then he threw some people and did some
Yep.
things. And then the military came and captured him and took him off to go do other things.
Yeah.
I think it was alpha and beta radiation, not gamma.
Not gamma. Okay.
Because
So
gamma's the bad one.
we can put that to
Yeah.
rest. Gamma would be like what turns you into the Hulk.
Okay.
And then it's also like gamma ray bursts when a star just kills a planet. So it is pretty bad radiation.
Crazy.
They talk about that where there are certain stars that could just shoot a gamma ray burst at us and it would incinerate the Earth in an instant.
New fear unlocked.
I know, it's one of those things where when you learn about, you realize this could happen literally anytime. There's nothing we could do about
Yeah.
it. But it's just one of those things where like you wouldn't even know if it happened. Like one minute
Yeah.
you would exist, the next you would not.
It's not my problem
Yeah.
anymore.
And then it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't be anything. Your brain wouldn't even process it. It'd just be like poof, no more Earth.
It could happen.
Interesting thing also that I just learned about the Hulk. Did you guys know the Hulk is basically the devil? Like he's from hell? I don't want to just go on a Hulk rant here, but I just learned by some great coincidence that the Hulk gamma radiation comes from hell in the Marvel universe, like literally the hell at the bottom of all other hells, the hell that is the concept from which all other hells emerge.
Yeah.
When the Hulk dies, he goes to hell. And he's immortal. So a green door opens in hell. He can just go right back through it out of hell and reincarnate on Earth as the Hulk again. But the reason he exists is because he's like the equivalent of the devil. The god of the Marvel universe has an equivalent that's like the anti-god.
Mm-hmm.
That's his Hulk. The god has a Hulk if he's Bruce Banner. And that's Marvel lore of the day for you. I don't know why I learned that.
Every
but-
day I learn something new.
Yeah. People who write comic books just go into these strange places. I don't know where their inspiration comes from. It's like metaphysical on a level beyond any other fiction there is. And I don't know how they come up with it or like why this is on comic pages. But people who think comic books are just stupid people punching each other, like when you bring that knowledge out, it's like, okay, no, it's more than that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of different theories here.
Crazy to have gotten to that from the Dyatlov Pass. But we may never know what really happened here.
No.
At this point, you wouldn't think like there would ever be some new breakthrough of like, oh, we figured it out. It's
No.
probably just going to be a mystery forever, isn't
Well,
it?
yeah, I think also the fact that we didn't have the technology. I think if someone invents time travel, we figure that out. I mean, that's the
right,
only
yeah.
way because like we missed a lot of evidence that
Yeah.
we could have had to test.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have a technology nowadays that we probably could figure at least some of it out.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about how DNA testing was not ready
Yeah.
yet. Like it was new science and they didn't know how to really use it properly. They didn't have the instruments back then to have figured out any like real, okay, that's probably what happened. We're just dealing with the scraps of what they did figure out.
Yeah. It is one of the cases that spook me out the most. Like researching all of this, I'm sitting and the window's open at night. I'm like, I can't be doing this. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It feels like something's going to get me.
There's something very eerie about it. Like,
Yeah.
it makes me think of Twin Peaks. It makes me think of the Blair Witch Project. Just those kind of things where something's wrong and you don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but something's wrong. And we may never know what it is.
I also think about like when I was really into watching like creepy like, conspiracy videos. That was a big one they would bring up for just like the government is doing something bad, they're coming to get you, that kind of thing. Like they're doing these tests on people. So that also adds some fear, but that's has some backup, but things that have happened in history to make you think like this could not actually happen to me, but could kind of happen.
It's plausible.
It's not. It's never 0% chance.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still possible.
It's very unlikely you would ever stumble into one of these situations, but if it could happen to them, it could happen to you. If you find something out.
Never 0%.
Yeah, if you go someplace you're not supposed to be at the wrong time, you could get disappeared and no one would ever know.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that sometimes you can think about at night and be like, whoa. But this is just like the kind of mystery you could talk about forever. Like we're on episode 4 of talking about this, and we could keep going because there's new theories that I think of every minute about like, wait, we didn't consider that. But I think it's fun to talk about this kind of stuff because it is just like an imagination game. What do you think it could have been when there's no evidence it was anything? You could come up with your own explanation.
Yeah. And it doesn't make sense.
No, that's the thing about it.
And I would love to cover more cases like this that aren't too recent true crime cases.
Yeah, just the fact that this one came from the past, like that long ago, makes it all the more eerie to me in this weird way. Where recent stuff. I kind of get worried with a lot sometimes with true crime, the ethics of it. Because a lot of these people are real life people who can see it, and it's kind of a very hard situation. So I'm like, always gotta be cautious about how you handle true crime. So I'm like, this one was a good case to go over.
I tried to be respectful. I feel like I got to know these hikers. Even that's not very ethical either. I don't know them. They don't know me.
Yeah, you only know what they left behind.
Exactly.
What's written in their journals, and all we can do is guesstimate.
Yep.
But I suppose that's that. I guess that sort of wraps it up for us. I hope all you viewers out there enjoyed watching 4 long parts of this deep dive into this investigation. And if you want to see more like this, please let us know because we can crack open some other cases and share our thoughts.
And if you got to this far in the video, show us by telling us your theory about what happened. Like, what happened to these people? What do you think? Is it a combination of theories or is it just one? Like, what is the answer?
Yeah, I would love to know what other people think. Because, like, we've talked about some outlandish things on this episode, some crazy things, but I feel like at this point, it's all on the table. You don't know what is and isn't out there. But I would love to hear other people's crazy theories. Yeah. So please share with us.
Yeah, thank you for watching and
thank you for sticking with us.
Yeah.
You deserve a medal if you watched this long.
Yeah, we're proud of you. Some people were waiting to see if they actually watched all of it. But,
but anyway, until next time.
Yeah. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
We did it.
We did it.
Open these now.
Yes, this is going to be our reward.
Oh, yeah. This could be the ending part.
We
have some Oreos.
Yeah, so our bonus for viewers who stuck with us through all this investigation is we're doing a little bit of a mukbang here of these Oreos we've been trying to get our hands on for a long time. We finally found some.
Backed by popular demand.
So this was not even in existence for a little while and returned to existence because people asked for it. But this is the blueberry pie Oreo. And we also have the apple pie a la mode Oreo. So what we have here is an Oreo, golden cookie, but it has this blue frosting in the middle. That's not what I thought it was going to be. I wonder if this is going to turn my tongue blue. Let's see what this tastes like. That's actually really good. It tastes like a blueberry muffin.
Ooh. Yeah, pretty good when I had them. I went to smell the, because we've ate like a whole container of these already. But I haven't had the apple pie one. It smells good.
It's pretty good.
It's very fall, I think. Apple pie and vanilla flavored cream. Yeah, I'm going to try the apple pie one now. Yeah, that is very light.
It's still sweet, but like, it's a light flavor.
Yeah, I was expecting almost this like green Airheads, kind of like straight up sour apple taste, and it's not quite there.
Yeah, this was a success.
We like both of these Oreos.
I haven't tried the blueberry.
Oh, you haven't had one? There you go.
Yeah, come on.
Thank you.
I feel like we need to have like an Oreo episode just talking about the weirdest flavors of Oreos there are. Because there's so many they've made through the ages, like the one that has Pop Rocks in it.
I would love those.
I love Pop Rocks.
I think also just weird food in general. Like I love going to Kroger's and buying weird snacks for D&D or this. So that's always fun.
Going to H Mart and seeing like snacks from around the world, where some of them seem very strange if you're only used to like Oreos. But they tend to be pretty good. That's the thing.
Well, this was fun.
Yes.
I'm so tired.
Yeah. Emily needs to rest, but we got Oreos here to enjoy.
Have a good night or day or whatever.
Whatever time of the day of the universe that it is in your world. Who knows? Maybe you're at the hell that's at the bottom of all hells and you're the Hulk. So whatever time of the day it is.
It's the aliens that came to this. They actually know the answer. And I'm making sure we don't have the answer.
Oh my God.
And I just doxed myself. So I mean, the aliens are going to show up.
Yeah, the aliens are here. They're coming. I see them outside.
That's why I can't move here.
Yeah.
Y'all would dox me. There's so much I didn't mention.
It's barely doxing when it's a considerable distance.